I prepared a Tuscan Raider version of Hey Everybody, Welcome to Twin Talk. You ready for this?
Go ahead.
What?
We're good?
We're good.
Hey everybody, welcome to Twin Talk, a video discussion show where twin brothers Chris and Kevin drink and draw. We'll talk about comic books, movies, and all things pop culture. We're your hosts, Chris Hart.
Kevin Hart.
And today we're going to be talking about Mandalorian Season 2.
Stick around to the end of the episode to see how our drawing of The Mandalorian came out. And if you like what you see, subscribe to the channel for more videos.
Full disclosure, we're going to be talking spoilers, open spoiler discussion. So this is your warning. If you haven't seen it yet, go back, watch it, come back to us afterwards. What did you think about the episode, Kevin? Start us off here today.
The Mandalorian is back, baby, and right away we're reminded just how badass he is. The child, or as the internet has dubbed him, Baby Yoda, peep the shirt, stole all our hearts last season, but he doesn't do so much to steal the show in this episode. He's kind of he takes the back seat a little bit. Yeah, he's kind of in his little sidecar, like the Batman and Robin type deal, and he's just kind of floating his little orb. I mean, he still looks adorable in every single shot. We're not.
They're milking it, bro. They're milking it.
Merchandise, money maker. But right away we see the Mandalorian, he's looking for people of his kind, other Mandalorians. And so we start off with action. We saw it in the trailer for the season. We see Gor Koresh, I think his name was, who looks exactly like, to me at least, a Javier Bardem meets the Cyclops from the Odyssey. He's got the horrible hair part and everything.
The villain from Skyfall?
Yes. He backstabs the Mandalorian. Jin, what's his name again? He revealed it to us last season.
Din Djarin.
Din Djarin, yes, is the Mandalorian. Gor Koresh backstabs Din Djarin at his club. We see the pig creatures.
The Gamorrean guards.
There we go. Yep.
From Return of the Jedi. Those giant green pigs. They're going like WWE style right there, MMA, fighting each other with battle axes, and people are just putting space money on it. Reminds me of when we went to Puerto Rico and watched the cockfights. But illegal in America. Go to Puerto Rico. John Leguizamo plays Gor Koresh. We know him from the clown from Spawn. We know him from, I believe, Ice Age. He was Sid the Sloth.
That was the guy's voice?
Gor Koresh. Gor Koresh.
And he was also...
Doesn't even sound like him. He was the mechanic from John Wick. Excellent film series. And he was also Luigi from Super Mario Bros.
Something I try to forget every day.
Terrible movie. Excellent 90s film. So, Tim Burton had to have filmed this opening sequence because Mando takes down Gor Koresh the same way Michael Keaton's Batman takes down the thugs in the opening sequence of Batman 89. He just like shoots his thing, wraps around his legs, pulls him back, hangs him upside down. It is, like you said before,
Predator style.
It's pretty badass. We're reminded to, I love that opening sequence when they're in like the wrestling ring. Just that whole set was excellent. I loved the whole atmosphere of it, of everybody just gambling on these Gamorrean guards fighting. It was very real world for Star Wars, and I loved it.
Felt very underworld, space underworld.
Yeah, very, very dirty, grimy, crime noir for Star Wars, which they don't get into in the mainstream movies too much because they got to make that moolah and kids show up. This show is a little bit more for adults, not too much, but
it's still very family friendly. I mean, Baby Yoda, come on, it's definitely for kids as well. A lot of the humor too, it's subtle, very safe to watch, but it's definitely got the tone. It takes itself very serious. The main character, Din Djarin, the Mandalorian, he's totally got that somber tone. He's rocking it, the space cowboy, the space western. We definitely get those vibes from this show.
It is darker, but it's still Disney. So that's exactly the whole premise of the show is Disney still has to sell those plushies, baby. So we see that opening sequence. He takes out a bunch of dudes that backstab him in this like arena.
They're looking for the Beskar steel. Basically, he's a walking gold mine with all the armor he's got. They're saying that it's increasing in value. He backstabs him at the meat. But we see that Mando could take him. The baby's seen worse, but he even shuts his little thing that we saw in the trailer. Very funny moment. And he just takes out these guys. I love how the pig like straight up runs off the thing, and he completely misses the Mandalorian, and he just like lands right on a table. I thought that was hilarious too.
Yeah, it was very McMahon, WWE.
Yeah,
like hitting people with chairs and fake tables and stuff.
Yeah.
He leaves this scumbag for these like space dogs. He says he's not going to kill him, blah, blah, blah. He won't die by his hands, which is foreshadowing he's going to let someone else kill him. And obviously they all go to town on his corpse.
Gor Koresh tells him, though, I thought that was very important, that he says the Mandalorian he knows of is on Tatooine. So we're going back to Tatooine. So that's what starts his journey off of the episode. We've seen Tatooine plenty of times in the Star Wars universe.
They get to Tatooine. We meet the mechanic from season 1, who we both, I can agree, hate.
The lady, she irks me so bad. Her acting just feels better suited for like a made up role that they wrote for the Disney theme parks Galaxy's Edge or something like that.
Amy Sedaris is the actress. She reprises her role as the mechanic Pelimoto, whatever. Garbage character. Star Wars is too big of a franchise to have subpar acting. These episodes, you can feel the money that they're burying into them.
I mean, you got Pedro Pascal leading the whole thing. I mean, come on. Like,
he's barely in the armor. Let's be real about that.
Yeah, I mean, at least you have his voice in the show.
Yeah.
Definitely stunt doubles are taking, that's the beauty of a role like this. Anyone could kind of wear the armor, whereas you bring the voice. I don't even know how much he films of it, to be honest. I want to look into that to see how often Pedro Pascal is actually playing on set The Mandalorian.
We meet her. She wants to hold Baby Yoda again. She wants his offspring. And we get these silly droids from Phantom Menace. Then we go into this bar on Tatooine. He takes his speeder bike up into the Mospego.
Apparently a forgotten city or town or whatever.
Of Tatooine, yeah.
Once the Empire kind of died, they said the mining collectors came in and just slaughtered everyone and kind of decimated and depleted the town.
Which we see later in the episode too, yeah. I like the look of those miner collectors though.
Yeah, they kind of reminded me of like Hydra agents in
Marvel.
Yeah, from Captain America, the first Avenger. They looked very similar.
We go into this bar, the saloon, space saloon, if you will. And
the most poorly crowded bar. They're definitely social distancing. The creature from Jeepers Creepers is working the bar.
Yeah.
And him and the Mandalorian are the only guys in that place.
He walks in, he says, "Can I help you?" And he says, "I'm looking for someone." And then the bartender says something basically like that they have zero business. So like I immediately, even when I watched the episode for the first time, I was like, this guy is treating a potential customer like he doesn't want him there. And they're obviously hurting for business.
Yeah, the whole time.
It's not like this crate dragon's going to come in and get 2 shots of Scabcha, whatever the heck that drink was called. They try to keep the alcohol blue like the milk from New Hope.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, this guy is behind him wearing Boba Fett's armor.
Enter the title of the episode, The Marshal.
The Marshal. Yep.
Who was played by Timothy
Oliphant.
Timothy Oliphant. Yes.
Who I remember most from the movie called I Am Number 4.
Great movie. Still waiting for the sequels. I got the books behind me.
Failed movie series that I would love to see the sequels to.
Definitely.
But so he shows up, he rolls in, he walks into this bar wearing Boba Fett's armor without the permission, written consent of the most famous bounty hunter of all Star Wars. So right there, I'm pissed off. All of Star Wars fans
are like, who's this guy?
The Mando, Din Djarin, obviously knows this dude's a knockoff. He's a fake because he just flat out takes his helmet, puts it on the bar stool. And we know that Mandos from the previous season don't take off their helmets. That's like
their creed. Yeah, exactly.
So right away, this guy's a red flag, and we know he's not a real Mando. And obviously, us as Star Wars fans, we know that that's Boba Fett's armor.
In his armor, he's like skinny. Like the armor doesn't even fit him. It looks like football shoulder pads that don't fit him well. We see his name is Cobb Vanth, and the thing that stands out to me about his character is he was ready to go toe to toe with Din Djarin. He was ready to do the.
That was pretty badass. I'm not gonna lie.
Says much about his character for sure.
After the mining collective takes over after the fall of the Empire, we see that he escapes with a bag of crystals or some sort of contraption that has these crystals. And these Jawas, we know that they're scavengers. They want anything of value. He gets onto the Jawa Sandcrawler, which was very welcome to see that. I love the look of the Jawa Sandcrawler. He sees Boba Fett's armor in the background, and that's what he wants as his prize. He takes it. He goes back to his little village on Tatooine, and he becomes like the savior from the mining collective for his people there, and he just like rides them out of the town.
So Cobb Vanth, he was ready to go toe-to-toe with the Mandalorian, but then we hear this, what we think is like an earthquake or maybe possibly a ship rolling in through the town. Maybe the Jawa's ship again too, but we see that it's like an earthworm, like a sand snake, giant earthworm, basically slithering through the dunes, which actually kind of reminds me.
If you've ever seen an earthworm that looks like that, go to the mental hospital because this thing is like 100 yards long. It looks like a giant shark, and this guy's comparing it to a 2-inch earthworm. But we know that they call it the crate dragon. I know from one of the books, Heir to the Empire, a novel, they did say that these crate dragons were they had these valuable pearls that were refined inside them. So that's obviously what the Tusken Raiders are after at the end.
Cobb Vanth has got his eye on this creature, which is really the antagonist of the episode. We see that it's a mutual threat now. He kind of makes a pact or a deal with the Mandalorian of keeping the armor until he helps take out this giant crate dragon.
They obviously make a pact with these Tusken Raiders. The Tusken Raiders and the villagers of Mos Pelgo are kind of at odds with each other since the fall of the Empire. and this mining collective took over. And then we see that Cobb Vanth wants to use the Mandalorian to kill this thing because it's obviously a threat to his village. But they have to team up with these Tusken Raiders in the deserts of Tatooine to defeat this thing, which I always liked about Star Wars is that it's kind of like the unity and bringing people together. Even though it's obviously a galaxy far, far away, it's still a metaphor for our Earth and how we have to come together through certain things. So that's the message of this episode. I did appreciate that.
Yeah, I definitely like the theme of
That they had a common enemy.
pushing aside
To come together.
differences to work together.
Humans could definitely take a lesson from Star Wars.
Yeah. Can we talk about real quick the language of the Tusken Raiders?
Yeah.
I thought at first I couldn't stop cracking up. I don't know about anybody else.
Mandalorian, like he's talking to Cobb Vanth.
All of a sudden he knows how to talk.
These like demon dogs, like these demon Tusken Raider dogs come out of nowhere and you're like, all right, this is the end for these two. And then Mandalorian's just like, and we're just like, I mean, obviously he says he spent some time on Tatooine, but like he just literally out of nowhere just starts talking Tusken Raider. And
the whole time yeah, that's all I knew them for. I didn't know they had this whole, but I was ready. And also too, every time they talk, I thought something was wrong with my Disney Plus subscription or something. I was like, oh, where's the closed captioning? Maybe they'll translate this Tusken for me.
Yeah.
But they did a nice job of translating and making us see what was happening.
Yeah, because like they used the audience perspective of not understanding the Tusken Raider language.
With the Marshal.
Yeah. He's like asking the Mando, you mind explaining some of this to me? And the Mando's kind of like the translator, and he tells him what's going down, how they're going to strike a deal to defeat this crate dragon.
Which I appreciate because a lot of, even in the bar that we saw, this is a galaxy, like we said, far, far away. And oftentimes we see humans just in the bar of that whole entire town. It was all humans besides the one bartender. The one bartender is the only foreign creature or species we see on this entire village. So I appreciated that we got a foreign language because it kind of showed the variety that would actually be
the beauty and diversity of the Star Wars galaxy.
We see that the citizens of Mos Pelgo and the Tusken Raiders have to unite to fight this common threat, and we see that they devise a plan with the help of the Mandalorian and with the help of the Marshal to take out the Krayt Dragon.
Let's talk about the visuals of that final battle with the Krayt Dragon because
Looked good, man.
I was
Looked real
so
good.
impressed with the visuals. And
even what are those banthas, right?
The banthas, yeah.
They looked incredible.
Well, some of those were definitely practical.
A lot of the show is practical, and I think that's what helps benefit it. It's more believable.
There was one scene in the finale of this episode, the climax, where they're fighting this Krayt Dragon, and he like burrows underneath, and then he comes up on top of the mountain, and that shot of him like exploding out of the mountain was so like cinematic.
Yeah, and that's something too. I feel like that if Disney wanted to cash in more and make even more millions and billions, that would be a sick theme park experience, a sick ride to almost like have something like that, whether it's
a giant Krayt Dragon.
Yeah, like a roller
you.
coaster or some sort of virtual experience. That would be something cool to see too, because it looked incredible on the show.
I just think it's ironic that like the episode plays the Krayt Dragon to be a villain, but they go and attack it while it's sleeping.
All it's trying to do is sleep. It's just a giant. It's like the shark from Jaws, right? All it's trying to do is eat. All this thing's trying to do is eat and sleep, and it's not its fault that it's gigantic.
Like, the Tusken Raider's like, we can hear it snoring, it's sleeping.
That's how.
And they're just
huge
like,
this thing
light it up! And they're just like placing bombs and cartridges all around. They defeat this thing with the help of Cobb Vanth, the Marshal, and the Mandalorian. The Tusken Raiders collect the pearl that's inside of it. Everybody goes their separate ways. And then the deal between Cobb Vanth and the Mando was that he was going to retrieve the Boba Fett armor from Cobb Vanth, the Marshal, after they defeated this thing.
So he's a man of his word. He gives it back to him.
Yeah, and I don't think it's going to be the last time we see him, too.
No, 100%.
They definitely
They even foreshadowed, and he said, oh, I hope our paths cross again. He says, as do I. So 100% Timothy Oliphant is coming back in this season.
I hope so. He's a good actor, and I really did like his role as the Marshal. I liked it.
Yeah, he was good. I liked it. He was definitely heroic, definitely fit into the Western aspect of everything. And he's kind of a recognizable face. I recognized him as an audience member. I was like, oh, I know that guy. And it's just more star power, I guess, to the show.
Yeah. I liked the aesthetic of him wearing the Boba Fett armor. It's a cool expansion of the Star Wars universe. But I'm glad that he gave it over to him because this leads us into the end of the episode.
Yeah, probably the biggest moment of the entire episode, the cliffhanger.
The one everyone's going to be talking about, is Tamora Morrison returning as one of the Fets. We see this mysterious figure in the Tatooine desert, and he turns around, and then we see that it is the same actor that played Jango Fett, and we know that Jango Fett made clones of himself for the Clone Army, including his son Boba Fett, and we turn around, and it is Boba Fett himself.
Yep. He turned around and was like, is that the guy? Oh, it's Arthur Curry's dad from Aquaman. Oh, that's cool. It's cool. DC and Star Wars colliding.
We see he's all scarred up. He's like apathetic. He's definitely done with everything. But there's reasons to be maybe why he's been keeping tabs on all these things. Does he not want to be recognized because he had attachments to the Empire? Although I'm pretty sure he was just a bounty hunter and just worked for Vader for a bit. But
there's a lot of theories and speculation too. Like, what's he doing? Did he give up the armor? Is he obviously he's got an eye on the Mandalorian, or maybe it was just
does he want the armor back?
That's what I want back. Is he after Din Djarin the Mandalorian because he did go rogue, stealing the target, which was apparently against their code too? But I don't know. We'll see as it explores. But Boba Fett is back, and we're getting it this season.
We last saw him, Boba Fett, in Return of the Jedi.
Last seen falling into the Sarlacc pit.
Not dying, not being eaten.
We did not witness his death. So clearly Boba Fett is back. They have plans for him, and we're going to explore that this season.
I'd love to hear their explanation of how he's back, though. Because he clearly fell into the digestive tract of the Sarlacc.
We'll see.
But again,
the Mandalorian went into the digestive tract technically of this acid-spitting crate dragon.
Very true.
And he came out looking fine. All he had was a little bit of
goo.
On his helmet.
And I think other than that, the whole internet's going to be talking about the return of Boba Fett. We're excited. We can't wait for episode 2. Any thoughts? Any closing thoughts on episode 1?
I liked it. I think it's cool how they kind of bookended the first episode of season 1. We had a huge cliffhanger, big reveal, Baby Yoda. Mm-hmm. And season 2, we have this huge reveal of Boba Fett. So that's something to look forward to. And plus the cast of Ahsoka coming and everything else. Mm-hmm. And I enjoyed this season. The visual effects are incredible. The costumes, the sets, everything is so well done. It's definitely, story-wise, it's a slow burn. Very visually driven show. Mm-hmm. But it's almost like a less is more approach. With what they have and with what they do it well. So obviously, it's Star Wars. I'm in. And I'm going to keep watching.
They have our attention, that's for sure.
Exactly.
They have the whole world's attention at the moment, too. Especially during a COVID world where we're all just watching streaming shows. So we're glad to see the release. We're excited for more. I'm excited to see, like you said, season 1 ended with Moff Gideon with his Darksaber.
Yeah.
So they did not touch on that at all in this episode. So we will be awaiting that eagerly. And I look forward to seeing what their plans are for Boba Fett, Ahsoka. The visuals were stunning. We wanted to credit the score to...
Oh my God, the score. By Ludwig Göransson, I think is how you pronounce the name.
Who we just saw.
Incredible.
We just saw Tenet. Theaters finally opened around here in New York. We went to go see Tenet in theaters in IMAX. And his score, you would think it was Hans Zimmer. It was that good. And this guy's an up-and-comer. He's definitely a rising star. So keep on the lookout for his work. And definitely in this show, he shines.
Anyways, that's a wrap for today's episode of Twin Talk. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. Comment below to join the discussion. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more content. We'll see you next time. Peace!